Wow. Hi, everybody. I am so glad you guys have decided to tune into our podcast on this Saturday afternoon. Release, Sister Chat, and y'all know what we do. Every once in a while, we do something called Her Side, and that's what we're doing today. I am so excited. Not only is it the month of May, it's Mother's Month, it's Queen's Month, but I have my friend, my sister. I mean, when I tell you this is my girl here, coming to visit with us and talk to us today, I am ecstatic. So listen, get your coffee, get your tea, whatever you got, sit back, kick your shoes off, and let's do some Her Side today. Is that all right? Elder Brenda Hardy is her name, for the ones who don't know her. But let me tell you something, you're going to soon get to know her, and you're going to love her just like I do. Elder Hardy is a woman of God. She is an amazing wife, mother, all that good stuff. But what I love about her is she's a woman of God. She loves her some Jesus. Elder Hardy is not only an elder at our church, but she's also founder of her ministry, which is called Intimate Moments. And she's going to tell us a little bit about that, I'm sure, while we talk. But I wanted Elder Hardy, I wanted Brenda to come and to be with us today because this is an important topic. We're going to talk about how do I reclaim my joy back after a loss. And it's Mother's Month. It's Queen's Month. And there's some women out there that need to know, how can I regain my joy back after a loss? And if anybody can talk about it, I'm here to tell you, Brenda Hardy can. So without any further ado, I want to just talk to you for a minute, okay? Forget the cameras are even here. I know you, but a lot of people don't know you. I just want to know about you. Just tell us about you. I just want to know about you with your fine, cute self.
Thank you, co-pastor. Thank you for that wonderful introduction, and I am so glad to be here with you today, too. Yeah, I love you so much. And as co-pastor said, I am a wife. I am a mother. I'm a mother of 5. I have 10, 11, 12 grandchildren. I don't know really because, the numbers change with, with the sons. So I'm not quite sure, but we actually know about 10 of them. Okay. I would say that. Okay. We know 10 grandchildren. So I would claim those.
I get it. I understand.
But I love God, as you said before, and I've been saved all of my life, been in church all of my life. But at the same time, the main thing about it is, the first part of my life, I would say, it was about being in church. It was about doing the religious duty. And then, somewhere around the time of 20, 21 years old, then that's when I got a relationship with God. So I have been, building that relationship and getting closer with Him from that journey, from that age up until now. So that's who I am. I love people. I love ministering to people. I love praying for people. I just love just helping people. And as you said earlier, I'm an elder of Christian Family Worship Center, but I did start my own ministry back in 2019 called Intimate Moments Ministry. And it's really a ministry where we teach people how to be intimate with God, how to have a closer relationship with God. But my family, I love family. I love, just being with people and just relationship. I'm a relationship person, I go in deep, so when you got a friend like me or whatever, you got a friend for life. And that's a little bit about myself. Without me going into the names of all the people in my family.
You know what we can do?
Yeah. We
start. You want the wallet? You want to show
That's right. Do you want me to pull it out and show you all the pictures of everybody or whatever? But so we won't do that today.
Oh my goodness! I listen. I know it, and like as I said, I've been knowing Brenda for years. I mean, over 10, 11 years. And what I know about you is that you've gone through some stuff.
Yes.
You've experienced some stuff.
Yes.
But what I wanted you to come to talk to people today is, first of all, how you got your joy back after a terrific, horrendous tragedy.
Yes.
So that's what we're going to talk about today, because there are so many people who are going through a whole lot of stuff, and they don't want to hear fluff. They want to know if she can do it, maybe I can.
Yeah.
and that's why I thought it was very important that you would come for us today, and I'm really excited about it. You said you have 5 children, and your baby. Tell us about your son.
This is my baby right here. His picture is there, and this is one of my things I love to carry around with him because this is all I have left of him. This is my baby, Demetric, and he was an incredible boy. I'm telling you, he was something else from day one. He was full of charisma. I mean, he knew he had it going on, and he knew everybody loved him, and he knew everybody wanted to be like him, and he knew that everybody was jealous of him. And like he said, I ain't even worried about it. I ain't even worried about it. That was part of what he used to tell people, or whatever. He didn't worry about people not, liking him, people being a little jealous of him or intimidated by him. But he was the life of our family. I mean, his sisters, his brothers, I mean, all the relatives or whatever. It wasn't a party until Demetric showed up.
So he had some swag.
He had some swag.
Swag.
That song was out then too.
Yeah.
About his swag and all that kind of stuff going on. I'm not going to even try to fool with some of them songs, but I remember. And Fresh and Clean, that was one of his songs too.
All right.
I'm dating, some of the songs that he liked, but those were his songs because that's what he thought about himself. He was so fresh and clean. And he loved music. I mean, he was a great dancer. He even did acting. He also was great at basketball. Just so many different talents he had. And he was smart academically. He did really well in school. And so, he had all those things going on. But at the same time, he didn't want to look like a nerd.
Sure.
He was smart, but he also wanted people to see him as being cool.
Cool, yes.
And it wasn't cool.
Yes.
He felt it wasn't cool to be smart. So even though, earlier he wore glasses, earlier he had braces and all this kind of stuff or whatever. So, I mean, he didn't want to look like Urkel. So he was like, nah, Mom, we got to get rid of this, So even, I was like, so do you want to go to contacts? No, I can see. So it was like, no, I'm just dropping the glasses all together. So that was the type of kid he was, as growing up, with every child and every teenager, they begin to develop who they are, their friends and all this here. He wasn't, I don't want to leave the impression that he was a perfect child. He was not. He had his issues. He had the different things going on. He got in trouble here and there or whatever.
He
but
was
it was
a typical teenager.
That's right. Nothing serious or anything like that. But, he would be driving like with a suspended license, or whatever, and get pulled over and all this here. Yeah. So just different things like that would drive us crazy.
Yes.
Or whatever.
Yes.
But he was a kind-hearted person. He really was. He I wrote down a note a long time ago, right after we lost him, of some of the things. Somebody asked me a question we were in one of these group sessions with other people like us who had lost their child. And they asked me, said, what would you say that Demetric taught you guys? And so this was back in 2009 when it first happened. And I found this note because I wrote it down then.
Okay.
And then some of the things that this is the type of person he was. He taught us not to be narrow-minded. He taught us not to be judgmental. He taught us not to be critical of others. Wow. He also taught us to forgive and love unconditionally because that's who he was.
Sound like a man of grace to me.
Yes.
Wow.
And for that, sometimes I say that is one of the reasons why he might not be here today. Is because he forgave everybody. He was trusting of everybody. If he had, you and him could get in an argument that morning. Please. And an hour or two later, he was already buddy with you.
Right.
Now,
he didn't want to carry that.
Yeah, he didn't want to carry that. I'll say this about me. Sometimes some of his friends would do him wrong or do something to him or whatever. You know how mothers are.
Oh, yeah.
I'm mad at him. I got an attitude.
Oh, yes.
I'm like, what is this joker doing at my house? Or whatever.
Yeah.
But Demetric, like, Mom, it's okay. I forgave him. We all right. We're friends again, whatever. And so when he would say that or whatever, I just back off and let him go on. But that was the type of person he was. He didn't hold grudges. He showed love and forgiveness and compassion to, everybody. And whether you did him wrong or whatever, he still was like open to you and allowing you to come into his space.
He sounds like an amazing
really was.
son. He sounds like an amazing son. If you don't mind, because like I said, I know you, and I know you and your husband very well, but people out in social media, they don't. And I think this, so it's just going to help somebody. What happened to your son?
Well, you know what? My husband has my purse, and I wanted to show you something. And I know he's on a call, so I'll show it to you a little later. But
Okay.
what happened to my son is that on October the 6th, 2009, and that's the thing about it, when something happens to us,
Oh yes.
that
You remember that?
tragic, you never forget the date. I can tell you all the times, you know this, because you and I have had this conversation before. I can tell you the times, I can tell you everything about that day. But on that day, well, let me go back a little bit. On October the 5th, I was sleeping and I was just having it seemed like a bad dream that happened, right? And I was in the middle of this bad dream. And then all of a sudden, though, it didn't seem like a dream any longer. It felt really real. And so I'm laying in bed, and it seems like I'm laying in bed, and there is a dark shadow that's right on on the side of me. It was on my right side, standing right above me. And I just, yelled out. I could hear myself yelling out, in the inside,
Sure.
but no sound coming out.
Sure.
And I'm yelling out, Jesus,
Yes.
Jesus,
Yes.
and it took 3 times. By the 3rd time, it actually disappeared.
Yeah.
And so with that, it startled me, and I'm like, okay, what is going on? I immediately felt the urge to get up and pray.
Yes. Yes.
So I got up from my bed and I went into my prayer closet and I just prayed and I prayed, and I prayed in the spirit, and I just laid before God and prayed for all of my children, prayed for my family, prayed for a hedge of protection about us, everything to pray, and then prayed in the spirit some things I don't even know what I said.
Yes.
But
I
I just wanted to cover us.
Yes.
And I prayed really until I got a release, and then once I got a release, I got back in bed. Well, that next day, October the 6th, we had to go to traffic court because his license was suspended to get his license restored. And so I was telling my husband about what happened the night before. He said, honey, you know how you are. You take things in so internally. You must have been worried about court and all this here. So he grabbed our hands and said, okay, let's just pray that y'all going to have victory today. All is going to go well and all of that. So the 3 of us gathered and prayed about it. We went to court. We had victory. And that's what I wanted to show you. I have that driver's license, which it's in my purse, and I'll have to show you that in a little bit. But we went to get his driver's license, and the day was such an incredible morning. We got victory with that. Matter of fact, Pastor talks about grace all the time. His slate was wiped clean.
Thank you,
I
Lord.
mean, they wiped his record clean.
Yes.
They didn't even put any charges on him or anything with the driving without a license, the suspended license or any of that. I mean, when I say it was totally wiped away, the judge basically said, I'm giving you a fresh start. Your slate is clean. And then he told him, he said, good luck to you. You can do whatever you want to do. There's nothing on your record that can stop you from doing anything. Stop you from, whatever it is. You won't be able, a job, you won't be able to be stopped from that, going to the military, whatever it is you want to do. And so we had a great day. And from that, he usually doesn't. And see, if you look at this picture here, this is him. Serious looking. That's that swag about him. Want to look like he's all grown. You got to go
Get it together.
Look into my eyes, girl, and let me hypnotize, that kind of stuff. But that license that day when he got that license, he smiled. And so that's one of the reasons why I love that picture. Is because you usually don't catch him smiling. And so he was smiling about it because he was excited that
slate had been wiped clean.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, indeed.
The slate had been wiped clean. So, we moving a little faster in that or whatever. We got home, and I dropped him off, and we went by and visited with my husband and told him he got his license back.
Yeah.
Dropped him off at home, went back to work. Everything was fine. We knew we had some things to do.
Sure.
Like go get, take your car out the garage. There's some things that you need to do to the car before you drive it.
Sure.
This has been, locked up for 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
So about around 1:30 or so, I called him to check on him because I'm like, okay, is he still sleeping?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And of course, he was still sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
And I told him, I said, now, Demetric, you can sleep for a little while longer, but you're going to have to get up and have those things done with that car.
Sure.
Because Dad is going to harp on you about getting those
Right.
things done. And he said, I'm going to get up in a little bit, Mom. I'm going to get up and I'm going to go take it. I promise you, I'm going to go take it.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, okay. And so, after that, I didn't call him again to bother him about it. I'm working or whatever. I didn't hear from him in reference to it or anything like that. I got home around 6 p.m., walked in the house. I noticed the car was outside. It was not in the garage. It was outside of the garage. I said, okay, well, maybe he took it where he needed to take it. So you know how we do. We get off of work. It's our regular day or whatever.
Right.
I skipped on in the house, skipped on upstairs and everything, skipped into his room. And my child is laid on the floor. The ironing board is kind of like turned over. The iron is like it's been left on, and has burned through the wire because it has fell over or whatever. So I'm thinking that, in my mind immediately, I'm thinking, okay, did he fall or something happen, or whatever, and the iron fell on him? And so, I go over to him and, I'm trying to wake him, thinking that, something is going on. And of course, I can't. So immediately in my mind, I began to pray and I'm, pressing on him. And then I said, well, let me call 911 because, this might be something that I need somebody to walk me through the process of doing it. I called 911 and I told him, and she had me to do some different things, or whatever. And so I was doing those things. I said, and I said, there's no pulse. I do not, or whatever, and all this kind of stuff. And I'm telling you, I was in such shock. And this is the thing about it. This is not supposed to happen at my house. So I never expected.
Right.
I'm like, no, he sleep. No, he felt, he passed out. No, something else is going on.
Right.
The word dead did not even enter my mind.
Couldn't.
Okay? It did not enter my mind. So then, after, a couple of minutes or so of going through this process with the people from 911, she finally said, well, I'm going to send, she probably already suspects something is going on.
Yeah.
She said, I'm going to send an officer there to your house right away, Miss Hardy, and all that kind of stuff. And I mean, when I say they came right away, they were there right away.
Yeah.
And so they were there right away, and, I'm still, and so he came over. And see, the thing about it with me, I had not lifted his head or anything like that. And as I told you, it looked like he was just really sleeping.
Sure.
And no blood anywhere. No, no trauma.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, no, evidence.
It didn't look
of
like
anything.
a crime scene.
It didn't look like a crime scene. No, ma'am. Did not look like a crime scene at all. And so when he picked him up, when he raised up his head, then that's when he got blood on the back of on his hand, because he was shot in the back of the head. And so then he said, Miss Hardy, I'm really sorry, but your son is dead. And when he said that, I screamed so loud.
I know you did.
And I ran down the stairs, and I don't know why, but I ran out of the house. It's like, I got to get out of here.
Yeah.
And I was the only one there. My husband was on his way to the airport. He was traveling, going somewhere. And so my neighbor, I never forget it, Dennis, he heard me screaming. From inside. And so he was already outside of his house. And so when I ran outside, I ran right into Dennis' arms. And, and he said, what's wrong, Brenda, and all this. And he comforted me. And then they allowed me to come over to their house. And they really, was there and took care of me during all of that.
God.
While I was making phone calls to my husband, to my son-in-law, because I wasn't going to call my daughter or anybody, like, I mean, I needed that, them to be with somebody
That's
when
right.
they didn't fall out
Right.
and break down.
Right,
But,
right.
yeah, and I know my voice might be a little cracky
No.
right now, but yeah, that was the most devastating day of my life, to go in there and find my baby dead.
Well, first of all, I know I speak for probably every person that is watching and saying, my God. I have to ask you this, because I know somebody is asking. Were you angry at God?
I think initially, maybe for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that's not, I think what it was with me, not so much angry that I blamed him for this.
Right.
I think with me, because me and God were like this, I was like, why didn't you tell me? I know you warned me and showed me something when that
day before.
That's
death,
right. Because I'm telling you, it's almost like a spirit of death, that darkness that was over me. But why didn't you show me the whole picture or tell me the whole thing? That was my initial.
Sure.
Of course, after spending time with God and talking to him about this over and over again, I understand that he did not, because of his love for me.
Yeah.
I would not been able to handle it. We say we want to know.
Yeah.
We say we want him to show us, and we want him to warn us. But do we
really?
Can we really handle it? So.
But our Father knows, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
He knows. He knows.
And I was like, a little just upset with that, because, like I told you before, we always think we can stop something.
Yeah.
We always think we can save something.
Yeah.
We always think we can change something.
Yeah.
And so, we think we can change the outcome.
If I do this.
If I do this.
If I had been there.
What if I had
said that.
Yes, all this kind of stuff.
We always do.
What if I had stayed at home and not
Right.
go back to work?
Right.
What if I had just went home a little earlier or whatever? All this kind of stuff. But like, I told you earlier, there was so much grace in this situation, because I'm not the only mother that has lost a child.
Sure.
I'm not the only mother that probably have found their child dead. But at the same time, there was another thing about Demetria. It wasn't a day or a night that Demetria left our house that he did not come and wanted us to pray for him and also hug us and give us a kiss. It was just a common thing. Even at that age or whatever. Even if he was going out to do whatever he was going to do, go to the club, do whatever he was going to do, he still wanted covering. And so in that, I saw God's grace, because, my son could have been killed in the club, could have been killed in an alley, could have been killed, a drive-by in a car or whatever the case may be. And so with me, I just felt it more comforting. It was like, I'm just telling you, for a moment there, it was like, it's really like he just went to sleep in his room and left from there.
Yeah.
So instead of me, I've had friends.
Yes.
I've had different other people that I know, even relatives. My family member, I had a cousin of mine that was murdered at a young age. These things where it could have been different. It could have been where we were still looking for a body, where we had to go and identify him somewhere. Right. Now that part, that wasn't my part. That wasn't for me.
So you felt that you weren't angry more so than questioning him why he just didn't let you in.
Yeah.
Because we're close now.
Because we're close.
We talk all the time.
We talk about everything.
We talk about everything.
Showed me all kind of things.
That's right.
Yeah.
So that's your take on it.
Yeah.
Okay, which is good, because I'm sure people want to know, because I want to know. My first thing is, God, would I be angry with you?
Yeah.
But you said, okay, so I can understand that. But did you ever ask him about the situation? And if you did you get the answer?
Yeah. I asked him about the situation. I think that's just a normal situation. That's a normal question. First of all, we always ask, somewhere along the way, why?
Why?
Why? And I don't know if I ever got the answer, except, how God is. God is sovereign, and,
Yeah.
and we know that.
Yeah, he is.
But you know what, God? One of the things that God told me, He wasn't yours from the beginning. And see, we think that.
We think that.
But
he,
all our children
come on.
belong to God.
Come on.
They belong to
Yes,
God.
they do. Yes,
and
they
so
do.
then I had to change. That's
Yes.
what I'm saying. That's why it's important to have that relationship.
Yes.
Because if you don't have a relationship with God, you know, I could have went off and say, you know, what you mean? It wasn't mine. But see, the word, you know, tells me that our children belong to God. But not only, they're just on loan to us.
That's right.
So then I began to start praising Him and thanking Him
Yeah.
for the years He gave me to take care
That's
of Him.
right. That's right.
That's all I could do.
That's all you could do.
And,
That's all you can do.
And He's returned him back, you know,
Yes.
to Himself.
Yes.
Then I had to accept that.
Yes.
But, you know,
Yes.
I mean, it was a process.
Yeah.
You know, me and him had many debates. Yeah, you know, and talking about it or whatever,
Sure.
because I was like, okay, there were so many things we were supposed to do. You know, I mean, we were waiting for him to step into his manhood. So there was things that he was going to do, you know, with the family, you know, with business, and all the other things that we had planned for him, you know. So, I told God, I said, you know, I felt robbed of that.
Yes.
I mean, I don't even have a grandchild from him, you know.
Yeah.
So it's like so many different things
Sure.
that I felt robbed of, but from spending time with God, and that's why, I mean, you know, I would say this, because there's so many things that I could say, but you know, some people go to alcohol, they go to drugs, they go to all these different things when they've gone through something like I have gone through.
Yes, they do.
And so many of mothers have gone through. But with me, I ran to God. And so that was my healing. That was my restoration.
I was going to ask
that
you.
was my peace.
Yes.
You know, just how people get that peace, you know, that relaxation after, you know, maybe they have done whatever it is they do to get high and take them to that place where they don't feel anything. Well, that place for me was in the presence of God.
Oh, God, I love you.
That
I know
place
that's
for
right.
me was in the presence of God. Because in the presence of God, there's
fullness
of joy.
That's what
and
he
so
said.
that's where I got my joy.
Yes.
That's where I got my
Yes.
peace. That's
Yes.
where I was able to rest. So every day it was like, I got to run to His presence. Because I'm feeling myself getting where I'm, you know, might be getting anxious, might be getting angry, might be getting lonely or whatever. So all of that, every time I felt one of those, you know, different negativities coming up on me, I put on worship, I lifted my hands and I praised God, and I went into His presence.
Yes, yes.
And
He just covered you.
He covered me.
He kept you.
He kept me. And that's why I say now, I know for a fact, He is a present help in the time of trouble. Not only is He present as far as time, that means right then and there, but He's also present, mean He is right there close to you.
He's right there.
And He showed me that, and that is one of my scriptures that I base my life on. I know He'll never leave me nor forsake me. I know that He carries me through every difficult situation.
Yes.
There's nothing that I can go through now that I would even concern myself, because that was the worst. And He didn't leave me in that, so He's never going to leave you. Never.
He said He wasn't.
That's right.
So, in light of what's going on now with Black Lives Matters and so many young African American men, and I mean, I stand there with you because I have sons too, but are being murdered. Yeah. Do you find yourself triggered when you see the news, or or how do you feel when you? I mean, it's so every day.
It is. It is.
And what can you say to a mother?
I don't get triggered. I don't get triggered where I reflect. I don't get triggered when I reflect on what happened to me. And I thank God for that.
Thank you, Lord.
I mean, it's just His healing, His grace, and His mercy. Because look, I will be, like you say, ziggity boo every single day. Because every time we turn on the news, something is happening.
Every single time.
So I don't get triggered by that.
Thank you, Lord.
What I do, my heart bleeds for those mothers. Now that, because that's the thing about it. It's new to them.
Yes.
I'm 11 years in, and it's still, you know what I'm saying? But for that to be brand new for them, I pray for them.
Yes.
I cover them. I get into intercession for them because the days ahead, the weeks ahead, and the months ahead that they have no idea what it's going to be like.
Yes.
That's what I'm trying to make sure that I help, pray and cover them for, so they won't have to, have a difficult time.
Because that's hell.
Yes, it is hell.
I know that's it.
It's hell.
It is hell. There's nothing else. There's nothing else. There's nothing else. So, 11 years forward, you find your release in Him. You find your release in worshiping.
Yes.
You find your release in being intimate with Him. Can you just look out and talk to my sisters? Because people think they're really going through.
Yeah.
But I'm here to tell you, Elder Brenda has really gone through. Can you just look out and just talk to my sisters and just minister to them and help them find a release?
Yes. First of all, I want to read something to you that I wrote down when I was going through everything that I was going through. And like I said, it is a process. It really is. Every day is going to be different. And you're not going to know how you feel from one day to the next. You just don't know. And like co-pastor was saying earlier about triggers, those things might not trigger me, but it could be a commercial that I see on TV, or it could be a song that comes on, or something like that reminds me of my son. Everyone that, is getting murdered and different things like that might not remind me of him, but it's other little things that might cause me to have those triggers. But God did tell me this, and I want to read this to you.
Please do.
He says, I'm hurting, but I'm here. And so that's what we got to remember. You're hurting, but you're here. You might be wounded, but you're here. You might be broken, but you're here. And because you're here, we have something to do. See, I had other children. I had grandchildren. I had a husband. I just couldn't go in a corner somewhere and just forget about life.
Right.
And that's what we have to do. Well, God also told me that in my pain, I still have to be in the game. And see, people understand that. In my pain, I still have to be in the game. Men especially understand that because it doesn't matter. So we've seen football players, we've seen basketball players, we've seen them get hurt or get injured. And they go back there for a few minutes and then come back out there and play.
That's right.
That's what God wants us to do. He wants us, even in our pain, even in our hurt, to still stay in the game.
Like that.
Because what He told me, we have to. He told me, Brenda, you got to help others. You got to help others play in pain. We got to play in pain. So He wants us to learn how to play in pain. So He told me, don't stay on the sidelines. Don't nurse your wounds and pain. He said, because your scars can turn into stars if you play while you're in pain. So you might be hurting today, but I want to encourage you that someone needs you. Someone needs your story. What you've gone through will help somebody else. And God wants you to know that He has not left you. He has not forgotten about you. He will take that pain that you're going through and actually turn it into something that will make your life better, that you can help other people, that you can actually be an encouragement and lift others up. So if you will allow Him to lift you and just bandage you up enough to get you back in the game, then that's what He wants you to do. Continue to play, continue to move forward. As long as we're still here, we got things to do. And so that's what I wanted to encourage you with. I know sometimes we get stuck. And I know I was stuck for a while. You get stuck on the side of the road and life is passing you by. But if you've been there for a while, now it's time to get back moving and get back in the game, even in that pain.
Wow. I'm full. I'm full. I really am. I thank you so much for coming and just being so transparent and so real. I appreciate that so much. I cannot even comprehend, but what I can comprehend is the joy you feel and the joy you reclaim after that tragedy. That I feel that, and I felt that before. So that I can get to that one. So thank you so much, man. This has been it's been a privilege and an honor and a joy having you here, and having your son here between us. And I praise God for you and your family. You know I love your husband. Where my chief at? Thank you so very, very much for sharing your story.
You're welcome, co-pastor.
Appreciate
Thank you for having us.
Appreciate it. Ladies, I pray that you have got released. You've released some things today. I pray that if you're going through anything, whatever you're going through, know that if you play in your pain, that was a word right there. God has released some things. I know He's just pulled some things out of me just listening to what Elder Brenda has gone through. So please, ladies, stay focused. Play in your pain. Keep on moving. If you're on the sideline, get back into the game. God's got you, and He's promised us some things. And I go back to our scripture, our scripture for Sister Chat, our scripture for release, Luke 1:45. And blessed is she that believed. See, that's the bottom line. Is you're looking at a believer.
Yes.
You gotta believe. You can't. This doesn't happen for everybody, because you will go ziggity boo if you don't believe. But blessed is she that believes, for He will do a performance in your life, and I think He has.
Yes, He has.
We see it. I think He has.
Yes.
So thank you guys so much for tuning in. We appreciate you guys so very, very much. Please, if you can, share the video. You might know someone who really needs to release and really needs to hear her side, her story. Share. We appreciate you guys so much. And as always, I want to end with, hey, we got our mugs, release, and you see how beautiful she is with the t-shirt. Please go to our store. They're just a few dollars. And it's Mother's Day month. You might think about somebody you want to get one for. Appreciate you guys so much. Love you all. Thank you.